One of my subscribers, I can't remember exactly who, but shout out to them for informing me of this. So this is Lori Lightfoot, who is the mayor of Chicago, and she is literally pulling the same move that Letitia James, the attorney general for New York, just did for Asians, and making this hotline and everything like that. Now, she's not creating a hotline for them, but she is doing something for a group of people that should not even be here. So in case y'all do not know, Lori Lightfoot has signed an executive order to make sure that illegal immigrants can get Wuhan virus relief funds. Are you kidding me? See, this is exactly why many black people don't like voting. They don't care if the person happens to be black, because you can vote all you want, but then when they get in office, they do a complete 180, sometimes a full 360 a few times on your ass. This woman leapfrog over people, number one, that are from here, to give something to people who were not, first off, not from here, but they came over illegally, meaning they did not go through the process to become a legal immigrant. Now, if they were legal immigrant or legal citizens, fine. Okay, whatever. Now they're citizens of the United States. But you're giving access that should be set aside to people who are born here in your city. Set aside. See, a lot of these politicians, or I call them politicians, have been known to do this all the time, where they will give to people who weren't born here over those who were actually from here. If they could, they would kick you out of your home and put them in your spot. If they could do that. Low key, that's what, I'm not going to really go there, but if they could do that, then they probably would. The article reads, Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot issued an executive order Tuesday to ensure that illegal immigrants and refugees in the city are able to access the city's virus relief funds. This order is more than just an official decree. It is a statement of our values as a city and as Americans. But you're giving it to people who aren't even American born, but okay, and they're not even legally here. Lightfoot said in a statement, since the virus first reached our city doorstep, we have been working around the clock to ensure all of our residents are secure and supported, including our immigrant and refugee communities who are among the most vulnerable to the impact of this pandemic. Well, based on these so-called stats that they've done produce, you would think that black people were the more vulnerable to it, since they want to throw all these wild stats out there, which I don't believe even an ounce of them. And even if it is black people that are being affected by it, and not saying that they aren't, because they definitely are, that number is just really relatively high. And I kind of went into detail why I believe they're doing that in one of my previous videos. Here in Chicago, saying means that during this crisis, no one gets left out, no one gets left behind. Undocumented immigrants do not meet the criteria for state unemployment insurance or the stimulus checks the federal government is sending out to every American as a part of the $2 trillion virus relief bill Congress passed. However, non-citizen residents will be able to receive benefits through Chicago Housing's Assistant Grant Program, learning resources through Chicago Public Schools, and will access to the $100 million Chicago Small Business Resiliency Fund. Now, how many black people in Chicago probably wanted to dip into that fund, for business? But we're told no, had the door slammed in their face. But here comes the people from across the border who aren't even here legally, and boom, they got all of this stuff lined up for them. I'm telling you, they're doing this shit for votes. I need to know, is Lori Lightfoot a foundational black American? Was she born here? Because that name Lightfoot, it has native vibes to me. It gives me Native American vibes right there. Because look at what they're having access to. Look at what they had access to. Now it's crazy because now is when I did that video about who cannot get a stimulus check, Also including there was the dads who owe child support. But you know, if they're not working, they can't get paid, and they'll still have to pay that child support, but they can't get that stimulus check. But these individuals right here, while they won't qualify for it, they'll get something else. I'm stuck on that part where it says Small Business Resiliency Fund. Up to 280,000 undocumented immigrants worked in Illinois in 2018, most of them in the Chicago area. That's a lot of undocumented immigrants for one city. For one state. One city, I should say. Illinois reported 73 virus deaths on Tuesday, the state's highest number of deaths from the virus in a single day, as the total number of cases in the state have surpassed 13,500. I don't know what it is about these black politicians and their obsession with immigrants. And most of them, Kamala Harris, remember what she said? Well, if I get elected to president, I'm going to make sure that so-and-so, who wasn't born here, gets a position in some kind of congressional seat or some kind of congressional position in the White House, or some BS that she put out there. Letitia James, I'm going to create a hotline for Asians, but when we got in her ass, she changed it and said people of color, but we ain't falling for that shit either. And now you have Lori Lightfoot, who wants to set asides yet again. And when I say yet again, I'm not talking about her personally, I'm talking about as a collective, where undocumented immigrants can get access to stuff that we can't get access to. Remember when I was doing that video a couple months back last year, where in New York they allowed undocumented immigrants to apply for getting a driver's license, and they didn't even have to go through the application process like we would. They just basically showed up and was like, look, I'm from here, here's my situation. Okay, fine, here's your license. They are literally letting them skate right on by. And I have a feeling it's because of votes. They're trying to get reelected. So they have to find new ass to kiss, because we no longer want their lips attached to our ass. And they know it. So now they found someone else to kiss up to. But it's absolutely ridiculous, because historically, this has been known to happen. This is nothing new. That's why it doesn't shock me, but it does piss me off, though. Because we know there are people who can qualify for stuff like this, more than qualify, but don't get it. But you have undocumented immigrants who come over here who are not supposed to be here. If it's one thing that I agree with 45 on, if nothing else, it's that illegal immigrants being in here in this establishment is not good for the people who are born here. And that's just the truth. That's the harsh truth. That is probably one of the only things I would ever agree with him on. Because that definitely hurts black people the most. Because where do you think they send a lot of them at? A lot of them get sent to black neighborhoods. Or they'll get the jobs that black people will want to work but aren't able to, and then they'll put the stigma out that black people won't do those jobs. I said, how do you know that unless you ask them? There are plenty of black-owned gardening jobs or black-owned plumber companies and all types of other stuff, but you would never know because you don't ask them, or you don't extend the hand out to them for them to actually do it. That's why a lot of black people have to go against the grain and go even harder to put ourselves out there. And even sometimes that's not enough. But if you're an illegal and undocumented immigrant, all you got to do is come and hop from across the border, present yourself, and boom, you get all these set-asides that Lori Lightfoot in her trifling ass haircut got. And I swear in this picture, she looks like a damn zombie. And that's not how she looks now due to the Wuhan and people being strapped. That's how she always looks. And I dare one of you fools to come to my channel and get upset because I have a nerve to talk about how she looks. Because you will be blocked. But This is not, like I said, it's nothing new. And it's always, always, always a black Democrat that does this shit. Always. Whether it's a man or a woman, but I've noticed lately it's mostly the women that do this shit. I don't know what it is. I don't know why it is. But I don't know if it has something to do with that intersectionality crap that I don't like. That's another thing I don't like, is that intersectionality shit. That's something else that has been ruining the community for years, especially in recent years. Having to extend the olive branch out to everybody while putting your stuff that you're supposed to be taking care of on the back burner, and you just leave it there. Every time some kind of progress gets made, here comes some other group. Oh, well, we got to put your stuff on pause and worry about them. And you will work tooth and nail to make sure it gets done. With us, you drag your goddamn feet. And I bet ours is the most simplest thing that won't even take long to get done. Theirs could take months. Ours could take days. But because it's them and you need the votes, then you will cast us aside and put them in the forefront. This is why many black people do not vote. They do not care if it's a black person. Many people have learned from 44 what the deal is. I'm done my little rant. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure you follow me on Twitter if you have not done so already. Have your notifications turned on, and I will talk to you in the next one.